Now, I have to send a big thank you to Will Bro from Barbell Stories. If you don't know who Will Bro is or who Barbell Stories is, he's just this amazingly talented photographer, filmer, depictor of emotion through weightlifting. He was at the Pan American Championships and he was very kind enough to lend us some of these amazing videos. So if you want to see more and you want to learn more about the stories behind the lifts, which is essentially what I think is the most important thing in weightlifting, then head over to Barbell Stories on Instagram and check out Will Bro also. Coaches Only June 5th and 6th, the greatest thing to ever happen for weightlifting coaches, is back again. You can learn from people like Greg Everett, Will Fleming, Ursula Papandrea, Max Ater, Cyril Martin, Fernando Reyes, Dr. Mel Davis, and the legendary Bob Ducano. Link is down below. What's up everyone? Today I thought I'd do a recap of the greatest lifts from the Pan American Championships. So what I'm going to do, instead of going through every single result from every single session, all of that information is available online everywhere anyway. I mean, you can get all of this stuff at weightliftinghouse.com. I figured that I would do a top 10 list on the men's side and on the women's side based purely on Sinclair. Now, if you don't know what a Sinclair is, it is the coefficient by which we're able to work out who's the best weightlifter regardless of weight class. It's a way that we can compare 61 kilo men with 109 kilo men. You can't really use things such as absolute strength or relative strength. Both of them provide interesting ways in which we can analyze lifters, but the most accurate way, depending on all of these different weight classes, is definitely by Sinclair. Also, if you are interested, I have this book that I wrote a few years ago, The Greatest Weightlifters of All Time, Volume 1, and that has the greatest 70 Sinclairs of all time throughout history. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to mention a couple of bonus athletes who came in at number 11. On the men's side, we have Nathan Damron from the USA, who competed in the 96 kilo category. He set new personal records in the snatch and clean and jerk, obviously the total too, at 167 and 207 for a 374 kilo total. That gave him a Sinclair of 95.57. The runner-up to the top 10 on the women's side in number 11, also from the USA, is Matty Rogers, weighing in at 79.81, so still very light compared to the 87 kilo category that she's going to have to compete in at the Olympics. She went 111, 140, also new personal records for her. That's a 251 kilo total. It's Pan Am record as well in the total, and that's a Sinclair of 290.46. Okay, so let's stick with the women and we'll alternate back and forth between the men and the women, 9th, 9th, 8th, 8th, all the way up to the greatest Sinclair of the competition. Number 10 from the Pan American Championships from the USA is Meredith Alwyn. So what's interesting about this is, just like back in December, Meredith has once again outperformed Matty Rogers and Kate Nye, at least in terms of Sinclair, not necessarily in terms of total. So she went in the 71 kilo category weighing 71.00, 103, 135 for 238 kilo total. That is a 291.51 Sinclair. Considering also that she only just made the move to her new coach, Danny Camargo, around 6 months ago, her progress has been phenomenal. At number 10 on the men's side, we have Diego Bentancur from Colombia. He is an 89 kilo weightlifter. He weighed in at 88.95. He went 165, 200. 200 being the real barrier that separates the pretty good 89s in the world to the amazing 89s in the world. That was a 365 kilo total, 425 Sinclair points, 45.06. Also, just as a reference point, basically the greatest Sinclair of all time was from Nain Suleimanoglu of 500. So it was in 1988 at the Olympic Games in Seoul. At a body weight of 59.7, he snatched 152.5 and he clean and jerked 190. That is 10 kilos over triple body weight in the clean and jerk, the best individual lift by Sinclair as well as total. 342.5 kilo total, a Sinclair of 500.7. And I don't know if you can see this, but if you look at our chart, hopefully that focuses in, you can see Nain Suleimanoglu way above everyone else. At number 9 on the women's side, also from the USA, we have Hayley Reichardt. She competed in the 49 kilo category. She came second in that category to Jordan Dela Cruz, who we'll see later on. She went 82.107. The 107 was a Pan American record, I believe, before it was then broken again. 189 kilo total. That's at 295.1 Sinclair. Number 9 on the men's side, we go from one of the smallest women to one of the largest men. In fact, probably the largest man there, Fernando Reis from Brazil. He weighed in at 154.94 kilos, one of the heaviest super heavies that you'll see. He went 190.235 for a 425 kilo total. He was very close to snatching, 10 kilos more than that, which would probably moved him up about 3 more spots, I would have thought. So 425 kilo total, that's 427.16 Roby points for Fernando. At number 8 on the women's side from Ecuador, in the 76 kilo category, we have Nacy de Homes. Nacy went 115.135, that's 250 kilo total, 296.41 Sinclair points. Now, when you look at the Roby rankings for this 76 kilo weight category, and you move Rim Jong Sim, and then you move Wang Zuyu from China also, you end up with an order that looks something like Zhang Wang Li, Kate Nye, and then in terms of total, probably Nacy de Homes also. So Nacy is looking to get a medal at the Olympics with this. On the men's side at number 8, we have one of the fastest weightlifters in the world. From Colombia, the 67 kilo Luis Mosquera. He went 145, 173, 318. Certainly one of the fastest lifters out there. Of course, the stomping of the feet helps with the perceived speed of the lifts, but even so, remarkably quick lifter. That gave him a 431.08 Sinclair score. At number 7 on the women's side, and once again we're back with the USA. And this was actually a particularly interesting session. In fact, I might just whiz through number 7, 6, 5, and 4 because they all came from the same weight category. So separated in the total by just 1 kilo between these 4 lifters, we have Taylor Nicole Wilkins, who placed 3rd, but comes slightly under the person who placed 4th by Sinclair because, well, by way of body weight ever so slightly. So in number 7, Taylor Nicole Wilkins from the USA, in that 59 kilo weight category. She went 95.122 for a 217 total. That's 296.58 Sinclairs. And then coming in after her in position, but with the same total and slightly more Sinclair points at number 6, is Janeth Gomez from Mexico, who went 93.124, also 217 in the total, 296.87, so just 0.3 over Taylor Nicole Wilkins in the Sinclair. Above her in 5th, also with the same total in that same session, we have Rosiva Silgado from Colombia, weighing at 58.79. She went 87.120, 217 also. She came 2nd in the session, 297.07 in the Sinclair points. And then coming in 1st in that weight category with 1 kilo more in the total than the previous 3 lifters at 218 kilos, we have from Venezuela, Yuslady Figueroa. So she went 93.125, that's a 218 kilo total, and that gave her a Sinclair of 298.94. So between those 4 lifters, they are only separated by about 2.4 Sinclair points. Okay, so because I just went 7, 6, 5, and 4 on the women's side, I'll do the same on the men's side, and then we'll go back to alternating. So at number 7, we have someone who weighed in extremely light for the 102 weight category. It's Lesman Paredes from Colombia. Now, known obviously for his snatches, he performed magnificently there. He went 3 for 3 with a 180 snatch. In the clean and jerk, he passed on his 3rd attempt, but he still made 210 kilos. That gave him a 390 kilo total, weighing 97.27. So the reason he did that is he didn't want to go up against Jonathan Rivas, one of his teammates, who was also going to be hitting roughly those same numbers. They've thought, well, let's just take gold and gold rather than gold and silver. So Lesman Paredes hits a 390 kilo total, that is 436.99 Sinclair points. At number 6, now in the lighter 81 kilo weight category, and this was a truly fantastic performance. In fact, we have a couple of 81 kilo lifters. We have from the Dominican Republic, Zacharias Bonat. Now he went 164, 196. Obviously that 164, 11 kilos under the world record. The 196, also 11 kilos under the world record. But a 360 kilo total is pretty damn big. So that's 438.53 Sinclair points for Zacharias. In at number 5, we have someone who actually placed second in their weight category. Often this happens, two lifters push each other and higher away from the rest, and they both make it into these top 10s. We have the 73 kilo Venezuelan lifter, Julio Mayora. I'll come to think of it, it could be Julio. I think the last time I mentioned him, people got pretty angry in the comment section based on my pronunciation. So Julio Mayora from Venezuela, he went 156, which won him the gold medal in the snatch, beating CJ Cummings, and then 185 in the clean jerk. We've seen him do way more than that in training, but he wasn't able to put it together on the platform. But that's fine. That's a 341 kilo total, 438.97 on the Sinclair. And then in at number 4, before we go back to alternating between women and men, we have from Canada the 96 kilo silver medalist, Bodhi Santavi. Now, I just want to give props to Bodhi. He became one of, I think, 5 96 kilo weightlifters to snatch internationally 180 or more. In fact, I think one of 4 to snatch over 180 in competition. Bodhi went 181 in the snatch. He even took an attempt at the world record, 187. And there was part of me whilst I was watching it that genuinely thought we might actually see a new snatch world record for her. But alas, it wasn't there. He did then come out and clean jerk 208 kilos, passed on his third attempt in the clean and jerk. That gave him 389 kilos in the total and a 439.62 Roby points. Okay, back to the women now. For number 3, we have the Colombian Mercedes Perez. Mercedes competed in the 64 kilo weight category, and once again, she was a silver medalist. The gold medalist still to come in this session. Mercedes Perez went 104 in the snatch, 130 clean and jerk. It's a 234 kilo total, 303 on the dot Roby points. So she was the first of the female weightlifters to break 300. Interestingly, should we have merged the Pan American Championships and the Asian Championships together by way of Sinclair points, this number 3, Mercedes Perez, wouldn't have even made the top 10 from the Asian Championships, let alone a merger of the two. In fact, even if we took the number 1 weightlifter from the Pan American regions on the women's side and on the men's side, in actual fact, they would have both gone in at number 9 if we'd have put them in with the Asian Championships. Number 3 then, on the men's side, we have America's number 1 weightlifter, CJ Cummings, a 73 kilo weightlifter. Now weighing in at 72.92 kilos, he went 155 for a new personal record, 188, which won him the total, beating Julio Mayora, 343 kilos in the total. He did go up, wasn't able to make any more, but he didn't need to go up to actually win this competition. He won it quite comfortably. So CJ Cummings, 441.27 Sinclair. At number 2 on the women's side, and bear in mind, we're separating number 1 and number 2. We have in number 2, 312.18, and in number 1, 312.69. So these are exceptionally close. It could have been a single kilo lifted more in the total, would have changed things around, or perhaps even just a tenth of a kilo in body weight may have changed these around. But in number 2, from Power and Grace in the USA, we have 49 kilo Jordan De La Cruz. So weighing in at 48.95 kilos, Jordan set new Pan American and USA national records, 89 in the snatch, 111 in the clean and jerk, which she didn't need to do. She could have done less and still won, but she wanted to do that, I suppose, to hit the 200 kilo total and sort of solidify herself as a choice for one of the selections of Team USA at the Olympics. So a 200 kilo total, her first ever 200 at this new body weight. That gave her 312.18 Sinclair points. And then number 2 on the men's side, also in that 81 kilo category, we have from Colombia, Brian Rodalegas. He weighed in at 80.64 kilos, and he beat out, as I mentioned earlier, the number 6 lifter by Sinclair, Zacharias Bonat. Now, Brian Rodalegas, he went 168 in the snatch. That is just 7 kilos under Lee Dayan's world record. 195 in the clean and jerk. So he actually lifted a little bit less than Zacharias, but more in the total. That gave him a total of 363 kilos and a Sinclair of 442.27. Okay, so here we go. Number 1 on the women's side, the moment we've all been waiting for. From Canada, from the 64 kilo weight category, it is Maud Charon. Now, Maud weighed in a little bit under the limit, 63.62, so she had a few hundred grams to spare. 107 in the snatch, that's a new personal record. 133 in the clean and jerk, that's a new personal record. 240, obviously it's a new personal record. It's also a Pan American record in the total. Now, that 240 kilo total gave her 312.18 0.69 Sinclair points. If we take a little look at the 64 kilo category for the Olympics by way of Roby points, obviously right at the top we have Deng Wei. Below her, Kwo Sung-chun, who's actually a 59, so she's removed. Cho Hyo-sim, also a 59, but also from Korea, North Korea, so she's removed for two reasons there. We also have Cho Hyo-sim, can be removed, North Korea. Toma Loredana, probably going to be removed because, well, as I'm sure you all know, Romania has been advised, the ITA advised the IWF to kick out Romania before the Olympics. And then there's Ruman Sim, another North Korean who can be removed. So really when we start looking at things after Deng Wei, I think my money is on Maud Charon to place second and actually take the silver medal at the Olympic Games. And then on the men's side, in number one, we have, from Colombia, the 96 kilo Jonathan Rivas. Now, Jonathan Rivas, he weighed in at 95.45, so also slightly light, more than half a kilo under the weight limit. He snatched 180 kilos, again, just solidifying himself as one of the most consistently superior snatches in that weight category. You can pretty much guarantee and rely on him that he's going to hit that 180 mark. He then clean and jerked 213 kilos, clean and squat jerked 213. That gave him a total 383 kilos and a Sinclair point of 443.62. Now, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with Team Colombia. Several of their lifters have been popped, and right now the whole country might be kicked out of the Olympic Games. We don't know. They are taking things to court. They're trying to push this idea that it was contaminated meat, which is an excuse that has been used successfully in Colombia before, and so we may see that this works again for the Colombians. But right now, we don't know whether we're going to see Jonathan Rivas, along with many of these other absolutely exceptional Colombian lifters, in Tokyo. Also, if you're interested, if you wanted to be the 70th Sinclair in the world, we would have needed to see a Sinclair of 465.11. We ended here at 443.62. Number 70 here, Nikolai Peshelov, the 62 kilo weightlifter who went 150, 175 in Sydney 2000. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's, whatever it was, countdown top 10 of the Pan American Championships. Just a quick reminder, Coaches Only is back. June 5th to 6th, we have an absolutely astonishing lineup, an embarrassment of riches of knowledge that is going to be presented to you guys via Zoom over those 2 days. I'll put a link down below. For more of these sorts of videos and more reactions, in fact, I've just recorded a few, head over to the Weightlifting House Patreon page and you can get access to more videos, more commentaries, podcasts, programming, and just general weightlifting banter. See you guys next time.